Third grade. Hope you guys are doing well this Tuesday. Here to read you your ELA lesson and part one of your story of Suki's Kimono. That is the story we are reading. It is on page 198, but I don't want you flipping there yet because I have to go over the skill and the question and all that stuff for this week. Okay, so just follow along. I'm going to go over the comprehension skill, the vocabulary words, and then I will start with the first reading of your story, and then I'll finish it on Thursday for you. Okay? So we are on page 190 in your textbook. So if you could flip to that, that would be great. Hopefully you guys all have your textbooks and everything so you can follow along in this video. And, I'll be right there teaching you along the way. Okay. So in this picture, all right, if you kind of look at it, it's a lot of different cultures in clothing that you might wear during different cultures. Now, in our culture, like wearing a polo shirt or a shirt and tie or a dress or a skirt for ladies, those are all acceptable clothing. Now, if you look at the picture, a lot of these different types of clothing deal with different types of culture. So it says, how does culture influence the clothes we wear? So how does culture influence the clothes we wear? Well, think about different celebrations that we might have, like Easter or Christmas or maybe our birthday. We might want to dress up. We might look really, really nice. So that is a certain time to dress up. Celebrations. Customs or climate. Okay, so those are the other two ways. Customs, what does that mean? Well, in certain Middle Eastern countries, okay, let's just say the countries that are near Europe and Asia, you know where those two places are because we spent a lot of time on that in Mrs. Jerome's room. A lot of the times the women can only show their eyes, okay, because that is acceptable in their culture. So they might wear a hood or a hat or something that covers up the top of their head, and then a long robe, and that's acceptable. If they don't do that, they could be thrown into jail. We don't want that. So those are the customs, and that's how culture can affect certain ways that we dress. Um, if you look at this picture, this one picture of this boy on here, he is from Ghana. Okay, Ghana is also a country, and he has to wear that robe and that hat as a child in school. All right, think of some of our schools, even around here, a Catholic school. A lot of times in a Catholic school like Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a school that's in Utica. It's in New York Mills. That the students have to dress up for. Girls have to wear long skirts and a blouse, and boys have to wear a suit jacket and a dress shirt. Okay, and that is what is required for them to wear every day. Luckily for you, you get to wear what you choose to school as long as it's appropriate. So, again, dealing with the different customs and acceptance of certain things that they wear. And that's kind of what our story is about when it talks about Suki's kimono. A kimono is a certain type of kind of like a jacket, an overcoat, but it kind of is something special to Suki, and you're going to learn about it. All right, so we're on page 194 now. So I flipped a little bit ahead. We're on page 194, and we're going to go over the comprehension skill of compare and contrast. Okay, so when we compare and we contrast, compare usually involves how we compare one, two, three, or many things and how they are alike. Okay, so if I were to compare, let's just say Aiden and Isaiah, they are both boys. So that's how I'm comparing them. They're both boys. They're both in third grade. They both love Legos. Okay, so that's how they are alike. All right, so if I'm going to contrast how they are different, now we'll talk about, let's say, Kaylee and Kiana Lynn. Okay, Kaylee has blonde hair and Kiana Lynn has dark brown hair. Okay, Kaylee is in Mr. Shermer's class and Kiana Lynn is in Mrs. Jerome's class. That's how they're different. That's how they are contrasting. So we compare, we tell how they're alike, and we contrast and tell how they're different. That's the skill you're going to be working on in your ELA packet. All right, you should have already started it. If not, work on it today. All righty. Going on to our vocabulary words, the 5-minute mark of our video, so you can always go back to rewind it in case you're wondering. Vocabulary words for this week. All right, I'm going to go in the order I have them in. All right, but this is going to help you with your vocabulary sheet that Mrs. Rollins and I had sent home for you. Cotton. What is cotton? That is cloth made from cotton fibers, okay? Cotton is kind of what a lot of our shirts are made out of. If you ever look at the tag in the back of your shirt, it might say 100% cotton. It's a lot of times what material or clothing is made out of. Next one down is festival. A festival is like a celebration for a special holiday. Okay. In this culture, in this story, the people like to wear a certain type of kimono or a jacket or overcoat or kind of a cover up type thing because it is to celebrate a festival. All right. And you're going to learn about that. Graceful, showing beauty in movement. If you are graceful, think of a figure skater or a gymnastics all-star. Okay, they're very graceful. They do things beautifully. Okay, nice and easy. Okay, they don't look like they're all over the place. Okay, if you are graceful, you do something very smoothly and it looks very fluid and kind of beautiful. All right, a handkerchief. All right, handkerchief, kind of like a tissue. All right, it's a square piece of cloth used to wipe the face or the nose. Usually, men in olden times, and I don't mean like that as a rude thing. All right, in olden times, usually used a handkerchief. Okay, it's kind of like a big tissue. This is obviously a napkin, but they would kind of keep it in their pockets or in their pocket of their pants, and they would use it to wipe their face if they were sweaty, or maybe you had to blow your nose. Paces, all right. If you are doing paces, you are taking steps in walking. All right, paces, you're pacing the floor, you're walking back and forth. Pail, if you are pale, what does that mean? Not like the carrying the pail for your sandbox. This pale means that it is very light in color. Okay, we're all going to be pale because we have to stay a lot of this time indoors. Get a chance to go outside in your yard, do it. But pale is light in color. Okay, very, very light. Rhythm, a repeated beat, sound, or motion. That's a rhythm, okay? It's like kind of making a beat. A lot of our favorite songs have rhythms in them. And then if something is snug, it fits very, very closely or tight. Some of our shirts that we might wear might be very snug, a little tight fitting, okay? All right, so those are your vocabulary words for this week. And I am going to start the first read of your story, which is on page 198 and 199. The name of your story is Suki's Kimono. All right, this is a realistic fiction. That means it's a fake story, but real, kind of real life characters, kind of makes you feel like it is real life. All right, and the question of the week is, how does culture influence the clothes that we wear? Kind of went over it at the beginning of the video. It might be accepted that way. It might be due to the weather. And it might be due to like maybe a religion or things that are different to this certain nation. So we are going to read the story on page 200. All right, I'll let you guys flip to that page before I begin. Bye. On the first day of school, Suki wanted to wear her kimono. Her sisters did not approve. You can't wear that, said Mary. People will think you're weird. You can't wear that, said Yumi. Everyone will laugh and no one will play with you. You need something new, Suki. You need something cool. But Suki shook her head. She didn't care for new. She didn't care for cool. She wanted to wear her favorite thing, and her favorite thing was her kimono. So what was her favorite thing to wear? It was her kimono. And her sisters are Yumi and Mary, and they're trying to tell her that you need to wear something cool because you're gonna get laughed at, or they need to wear something new so that people don't pick on you. But Suki wasn't worried about that. She felt comfortable in her kimono, and that's what she wanted to wear to school. Page 201. Suki's Obakan, okay, had given her the kimono. The first time Suki wore it, her Obakan took her to the street festival where they slurped bowls of slippery cold somen noodles and shared a cone of crunchy shaved ice topped with sweet red bean sauce. Okay, so you might be asking, what is an Obakan? To me, I believe that that is a grandparent. Okay, I'm not 100% certain, but I think it's a grandparent. And the first time Suki wore her kimono, was when her Obakan brought her to a street festival. All right, so kind of like a street party, kind of like a farmer's market that we might go to now. Next paragraph on 201. Under strings of paper lanterns, Suki joined her Obakan in a circle dance. She followed her and copied her movements, trying to be as light and as graceful. She watched the other women and children who danced, especially those who were dressed in cotton kimonos, just like her, just like in this picture. Okay, so what does a kimono look like? It's kind of like a long dress, long sleeve dress that kind of goes over it. Like the only way I can kind of compare it is if you've ever done karate or taekwondo, it's kind of like that jacket you wear with the belt around it. All right, it's kind of the same thing. All right, next page, on page 202. Later, Suki sat so close to the stage that when the taiko drummers performed, bum 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 bum, she felt like she swallowed a ball of thunder because it was so loud, and her whole insides quaked and quivered. Before they left the festival, Suki and her Obakan stopped at a souvenir stand. There were many things to choose from, but her Obakan found the prettiest thing of all, a handkerchief of pale pink linen. All right, pale pink linen, decorated with tiny maple leaves and cherry blossoms. When she gave it to Suki, she said, "This will help you remember our special day." Last paragraph on 202. Now it was time for school. Mother checked Suki's obi one last time and took a picture of Mary, Yumi, and Suki together by the front steps. So they're going to school for the first time. And guess what Suki is wearing? She is wearing her kimono. All right. 203. We're on page 203. Then, as she watched, the three sisters made their way down the block to their school. Mary and Yumi stayed several paces ahead of Suki, pretending they didn't know her. Why would their sisters do that? I can tell you why. I think that they felt a little embarrassed of their sister who's wearing a kimono to school, and they didn't want to be affiliated or known as her sister. So they try to stay far away. Not very nice. Not good brotherly and sister kind of love that you're supposed to show your family. But Suki didn't mind. She turned and waved to her mother before she clip-clopped along in her shiny red gaita, feeling very pleasant in her fan-patterned blue kimono. All right, so Suki is so comfortable in the clothes that she's wearing. Her sisters, Mary and Yumi, not as much. Page 204. Once in a while, Suki would lift her arms and let the butterfly sleeves flutter in the breeze. It made her feel like she had grown her own set of wings and almost felt like she could fly. Underneath that picture. When they reached the school, Mary and Yumi hurried across the yard to a group of their friends. Suki stopped and looked around. Some of the children turned and stared at her, and others giggled and pointed at her. It's not very nice. And guess what? Suki's got a heart of gold, and Suki did not even pay attention. She ignored them. Page 205. So, some kids can be mean sometimes by like maybe the clothes you wear, the way you act, but they're not really the kids you want to be friends with. The real friends are what you're going to meet on page 205. She took a seat on a swing to wait for the bell. A girl dressed in overalls just like a pair Suki had at home sat on the swing beside her. "Hi, Suki," said the girl. "Hi, Penny," said Suki. "How come you're dressed so funny?" Penny asked. "Where'd you get those shoes?" Suki lifted her feet off the sand and wiggled her toes. "I'm not dressed funny," she said. "My grandma gave me these shoes." Suki started pumping her legs. After a moment, Penny did the same, and soon they were both swinging as fast and as high as they could. Swoosh, swoosh, up and down. All right, so we're going to stop there. All right, and there's a question on the right side of that page. It says, "What do you think might happen next for Suki and Penny?" Okay, now Penny asked her, "Why are you wearing those? You kind of look funny." Suki said, "I don't feel like it looks funny. I feel like this is normal." And Penny might have been, "Okay." So what do you think is going to happen next? I did mention that maybe they could make some friends. Maybe Suki's friend is Penny and Penny's friend is Suki, but we're going to find out on Thursday what's going to happen next in the part 2 part of our story. All right, so make sure you work on your comprehension skill packet and your vocabulary words, which I touched on in this video, the 5-minute mark, so you just in case you got to go back. But feel free to play this at any time. All right, we miss you greatly. And I look forward to bringing you the second half of Suki's Kimono on Thursday.